successfully moved the music school from Anacostia to Virginia Beach. Didn't lose a thing.
Yeah.
Nobody ever mentions his name in connection with that. Anyway, and he never made chief. And he's bitter about it, and will die that way. But anyway, he was on the Enterprise at Pearl, and that was a ship's company band. The bands that started in school, 35, band 1, they started the numbering, band 2, band 3. Tony Mitchell was in band 5, but never went out because they kept him in the orchestra and Navy band. And of course, Dutch and Gene were in, and Fritz Eamon were in band 8. Forgione was in band 10. And they go on up, I think.
Henry was in it, wasn't he?
Henry was in 8.
Henry Lochinvar.
Henry Lochinvar was also
But
in
Dutch
8.
Albert was in 4.
No, 8.
8, he
Yeah.
was in 8, yeah.
We had actually, and think about this, the number of warrants that came from band 8. There was Dutch and Gene and Fritz
Yep.
and Cole and Bill Thomas, who went out of the Navy and went in the Army and became a warrants. Pictures right over there on the table.
Just looking at it.
And I think it was somebody else in that band that became a warrant. I think it was 6 of them, and I can't get the other name right now. That was amazing, of the people out of that band that became warrant. And I thought it was very interesting that 3 of them ended up back at the school as department heads at the same time. And I
Yeah.
hope to get them on film together, but I haven't seen Fritz here yet, so I don't know about that.
Is he supposed to come in?
I understand that he was,
I
because
know
Dutch
he
was
was.
coming down today,
Yeah.
and his niece was driving him down. But the numbered bands came out of school, and the pickup bands were really the ship's, what generated into the ship's company bands. And where that ever all got straightened out, I don't know yet, because Skinny says that he was at the E-flat school, and the Enterprise came in, and they needed a trombone player, so they come over to school and says, "You got any trombone players over here?" And he says, "Well, yeah, I play trombone." "Oh, good." And he comes to the Enterprise, and it was that loose. It was that loose. So we have come a long way, but there's so much to fill in yet, you know.
Well, a lot of it had to do with Jim Thurman when he took over
Yes.
the program
At the school?
as a lieutenant, yeah. Then it got to be where the Bureau took charge. And we eventually got our own unit in the Bureau like we have now.
Right.
All transfers out of the school were done Bureau. People in the fleet, you couldn't throw a guy out of the band unless the Bureau was aware of it for a replacement or something like that. Everything like that had to go through the Bureau.
And a name that we have not brought up, when we were basic students at the school, Roy Paquette was up in the front office.
He was a French horn player.
He was a French horn player. Fultz was a rehearsal conductor. Pops Channing was a rehearsal conductor. They were hard taskmasters, man. You didn't get away with nothing.
Max Cord,
Well, Max Court was up in the front office too.
yeah,
And the registrar was Lou Lawton,
yeah.
Yeah.
the man that had it all together up here. And when he went to the Bureau, he just kept that whole thing intact so very, very, very well. He became the head of Navy music program.
Yeah.
But first over there, as I'm remembering, and somebody will straighten me out somewhere along the line, McDonald went there from the school. Remember, McDonald went there. Now, let's back up for a minute. There was Holmes as commanding officer, officer in charge, lieutenant commander. And John I. Carey was his assistant ONC. As I remember, and I might be wrong on this, somebody might have come between Holmes and when McDonald came.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, I don't really know that either, but McDonald came, and that's when things started to shake loose a little bit, because he had this interest in Navy music and did a number of good things for us. And then when that film there that shows Macmillan conducting had just started to putting bugs on their arms and had authorized these people to be commissioned lieutenant. And that was when the ship's clerks, warrants that were ship's clerks at the time, were able to take the cross quills off and put the bug on their arm. Okay, the lyre is a designation for a musician, which they don't wear anymore. You have to wear a star again now. And as I understand, somebody will probably balk at some of this somewhere along the line, that one of our illustrious leaders, we're still there, when they went up to OCS, the people that were line officers didn't show them any respect. And my personal feeling, that's unfortunate, because that came out of them, not what was on their arm. Because we all went aboard ship as musicians, and we got along fine with the crew and hung out with everybody, you know. So I think it's unfortunate that...
Well, that film that I looked at last night, the one guy I recognized, well, Macmillan I knew, but Pappy Westlake. Pappy Westlake was the school librarian at the time.
Yeah.
And his favorite thing was to wake people up, because the chief on duty had to wake it up. Throw a couple of trash can covers down the stairs at the barracks. Oh, man, and then they'd walk around, come on, time to get up, time to get up. And he'd be rolling that thing down the aisle.
That's when we were basic students.
That was all, yeah, that's when we were basic.
Yeah.
Back a couple of years ago.
But when we were in the advanced course, I remember getting myself in a little bit of a jam, because I had the band up at the barracks and I had to bring them down to the school. And these guys wanted to give me some crap, and it was snow on the ground. And I didn't bring them right to the school. I marched them all around the station. I got chewed out real good, but I never had another problem.
I think we all did, one time or another.
Dutch Albert shoot all of us out.
Dutch did it, yeah, Dutch did it. The one he used to chew on was Chestnut.
Yeah, he really wrote her.
Boy, did he go for a bomb.
But those things were good for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And any of these people that you talk to, any of the people that I've interviewed so far will tell you. And I've had folks to come up, I cut that off right in the middle, but I've had folks to come up over the Navy band at the changes of command, and we're out there and they walk up and they says, oh man, I remember you, muffled gun, you guys were so hard on us, but I'm so glad about it, you know? So, I just don't like to hear people now saying, why are you so hard on us, or this, that, or the other. Yeah. It's not that hard.
You know what's so funny, though? I still remember Dutch Albert very well from the advanced course. And you talk to him today, and he's so meek-like, he acts like, I was never like that. What are you talking about?
He loved our advanced course.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Bob Schessler. He was on him all the time.
Yeah, I did have a problem.
As long as you did your job, Dutch was,
right.
He was right there behind you.
Absolutely. And that was good.
That made us good.
I was hoping that Franz Grissom, because I sent you that email, I was hoping that Franz Grissom would come back to be here this time, to do this with us. Because Franz and I had band 3, and he used to kid me all the time. He says, you walk so fast. He said, I had to walk this in front of you to talk to you. And that was his standing joke. But Franz had the 6th Fleet while I had Naples. And I didn't have enough people, and I had gotten authorization from the Bureau to beg, borrow, steal people wherever I could get them. Franz was good with giving me people. And he had given me a guy by the name of Roger Myers. Roger was a brilliant percussionist. But he was out there, and he was never where he was supposed to be. And he was really a thorn in the side for the 6th Fleet, because you got to move out, you got to move with the Admiral, you do these caravans and things, and here I was wanting bodies, and he said, I got one for you. Well, Grissom had found Roger Myers. This is all a part of this wonderful, big, funny, weird picture of Navy music. Grissom had the Tin Can Band, for people that don't know.
Yeah.
Down in,
Guantanamo.
no, they weren't in Guantanamo.
No, he was in
Oh, San Juan, they were in San Juan.
They were in
yeah.
San
Yeah,
Juan.
the tin can. I used to go down from Boston, go down there.
Yeah. Now, I have to tell a story about, because I was at the school when that band started. Admiral Dan Gallery wanted a steel drum band.
Yeah.
And he was going to have a steel drum band. And he got one, and I lose the name of the piano player that became the first leader of that band, that went from the school. But Grissom went down after that. And while Grissom had that band, Franz tells me he was up at the post office one day picking up the mail for the band. And there's this guy in there, a seaman, with a bug on his arm. And the mail says, who are you? And he says, Roger Myers. So, how'd you get here? He's in the post office in San Juan, handing out paper, passing out mail. So Grissom found out he was a percussionist and proceeded to get him in the band. And then lo and behold, he follows him to the 6th Fleet. And now I'm asking for bodies, and he says, I got one for you, Roger Myers. So Roger by now is 2nd class. And he comes to me down in Naples, and he's a good percussionist, he's a good photographer. He just had a problem, he couldn't be where he was supposed to be on time, or things like this. And I know sometimes I'd be rehearsing the band, and all of a sudden, I got the band and said, Roger? Who's? He's sitting back there looking out the window, and I'm waiting for Tiffany to come in. You gonna play with us today? Oh, yes. Get up and grab his mallets, and he'll be right there. We just had strange things that occurred in this program, and you made do with, what you had. You put these things
I
together.
think every band had that problem with the percussionists. Well, some of them were drummers.
Some very strong
Not too many were percussionists. but
percussionists, but,
Yeah, I think we were all over. We
What
traveled.
instruments did you guys play individually, personally? What instruments did you play
I
respectively?
played French horn.
I played piccolo, flute, piccolo. That's all I played.
And Marshall?
I play low brass. I do low brass.
Yeah.
Okay.
I studied all the instruments, but I played vibes. I have a set of vibes at home in the studio. I played them in bands.
But while you were in the program, basically,
In the program, yeah, I used them over in Naples, and I friended the Commodores with them a few times because I think it's an impressive instrument to have in front of a band, along with my trombone. But actually, I'm a euphonium major.
okay.
You wouldn't think so because I'm usually playing something else. But yeah, I'm a low brass player. That's my thing. So we've spent, I don't know what time we started, I really don't. But I hope this was informative. I hope it's informative to some people that look at it. And it will be different. It's the most different of the ones that we've done so
Well, if we
far.
get any young kids, we were influenced by some pretty good people, and maybe our travels
Yeah.
will impress some people, because the 3 of us, in fact, all of the people were in our class, traveled all over the world.